Morning, everybody. It is September 18th, 8:10 a.m. Welcome to my channel. Yesterday, what happened? SPY made all-time highs and then pulled back. Okay, kind of went into that gap, like I said, and sold off. I was able to capitalize on a short. Didn't get as much as I wanted, but that pretty much played out. What I was talking about yesterday about that fade, taking out that poor foundation, the poor structure, and eventually losing the week low. We'll get into that later. That's what's going on. Today's big day, FOMC. Right now, the market is expecting a 50 base point cut, rate cut. Okay, interesting. What does it do if it gets it? What do we do if we don't get it? Nobody knows how the market's going to react. It's really something kind of astounding to be a part of because, like, we really don't know. Even if we were told right now, it's going to be 50, it's going to be 25. Nobody knows how the market's going to react, right? So just we don't know. So let's get into this because the market actually, I was just looking at some charts recently, some price action, not great. I mean, not great. Like how this market's been moving, it's basically been moving weird because of this big event. All right, even just the price action is just it's not it's even though we have good volatility, it's just looking at half-hour candles, it's just like it's not the best trading environment. Don't get me wrong, you can make money. I'm just looking at the candles, and it's just like you're not getting these nice moves. Now you get moves, but I'm saying like as general PA, it's not like it goes down, then it goes up. It's like wicking back and forth for hours. It's like crazy. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get into this. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile, market profile to find structure in the market, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. That is my edge. That's how I look at the markets. Okay. I also use Anchor VWAPs as well. So that's my foundation, my roadmap, how I find structure. Okay. And so every day, hopefully, you guys can join me at 8:10 a.m. I do this, right? Have a cup of coffee, have a cup of tea, just sit back and listen. Get the summary from yesterday. You get what's going on this morning, leaders and laggards. We'll recap yesterday, of course. We'll talk about news, economic calendar, possibly get into some upgrades and downgrades, and see leaders and laggards this morning. It's one-stop shop basically. And then the main event at 8:30 usually. I do the Nasdaq and the ES futures analysis, and that just sets up my roadmap for the day of what I want to look for. Of course, when the market opens, that's new information that nobody knows how it's going to be. Now, I will say this, right? Every day, I'd say the last three sessions, maybe 3 to 4. What I've noticed is there's been a big disconnect in the market every day. Okay, it's either overall market, like say equal weight, is like strong, and the market cap weighted stocks, which is the ones that move the market, are not, and it's like there's a divergence, or it's the other way around, which makes the market do what I said. It makes the market fight with itself, and then eventually it works itself out. Okay, maybe I'll get into that in a little bit, but there's just been these divergences in the market. Okay, now I'm sure everybody knows how it works. Just a little background. Market cap, like S&P 500, is a market cap weighted index, right? So the higher the market cap, the more impact it's going to have on SPY and the ES. Okay, that's how it works. It doesn't matter that staples and energy are going crazy. That doesn't move the market. That's what I mean when market cap weight versus equal weight. So the RSP, if you go to that ticker, that's equal weight index. That's how the market looks if all stocks were weighted equal. Okay? Just want to let you know that that's a divergence that it keeps happening every day. They're not working together off the bat. There's this fight. So just wanted to let you know that. Anyway, giving you some golden nuggets there. So if you enjoy my content, please give me a thumbs up or a like. Of course, you could always follow me on X at Gonzo719. All right, I also post day trades and why I take them on my YouTube shorts. Okay, and you can follow me on TikTok at Gonzo719Trader. You could also see them there. All right, I think we can get right into the watch list now. And let's just see. This is expected. VIX up a little bit, right? People hedging up a little bit before FOMC. Totally normal. The 10-year, that's interesting. The 10-year is up 1.13% prior to FOMC. Very interesting. Gold still holding above 2600, up 0.42. Dollar is up. Remember that swing low? It's holding that swing low, up 0.29. The Dow is flat. ES is flat. Nasdaq's flat. Silver's down 0.11. Russell's down 0.17. Bitcoin's down 0.51. 30-year bonds being sold. Okay. Crude is pulling back today a little bit. I like to see that. Down 0.76. Ether's just down 2.42%. Wow. Ether's just not catching a break here. All right, moving on to the Mag 7 Plus. Okay, let's look at these together. Google's up 0.56, followed by Tesla, followed by Berkshire Hathaway. Okay, Berkshire Hathaway made a nice big move yesterday. Okay, that's the largest holding in the XLF financials. That's why I have it on my in my list here. All right. If there's any laggards really, let's see, Apple, Broadcom, they're not big down. Nvidia, AMD, Coinbase, because of Bitcoin's weakness a little bit, down a little bit. All right, now all this stuff will go crazy at 2 p.m. and 2:30 when the FOMC is at 2, FOMC press conference at 2:30. All right, this one is really special because nobody really knows. Even though the CME Fed Watch tool is saying there's a bigger chance for 50, that's very rare to do the first cut to be 50. So it's just very exciting because this is one where we're like not really, we know we're getting a cut, we just don't know how much. All right, let's go to the top sector stocks. The leader here, Salesforce, up 0.71, followed by Johnson & Johnson, right? Not a lot of leaders, not a lot of laggards, right? I mean, Chevron and pulling back with crude. This is not much of a laggard list here. You're not going to get a ton of movement before FOMC. All right, let's go back to swing trade list here. Let's see who's leading the pack here. I think this is Bosch Health, up 4.46, followed by Atlassian, up 0.9. See, not a lot of leaders here. This is really insignificant leaders. Let's see if there's any significant laggards. Mara, Palantir, I think that's Edward Life Sciences. I could be wrong about EW. General Mills, I believe, reported earnings this morning. Maybe they missed. I didn't get to see. Oh, they beat there. Maybe they get poor guidance. I'm not sure. Lucid down 1%. Okay. Like I said, I'm not expecting much because of FOMC today. Not a lot of people are going to go crazy on stocks. Okay. Let's go to the guts. What moves the markets, right? By sector weight. Nothing going on here really. Healthcare is up 0.05. That doesn't really matter. Energy with crude pulling back. That doesn't really matter as well. That doesn't move markets. Okay. That doesn't really move markets. All right. I think that wraps up the watch list. We can get right into the economic calendar. I wonder if K-Trader's here. That's a new face I like to see here. Let's see. Let's go to, haven't seen G-Man in a little bit. Maybe he went away because of my computer troubles. And still trying to figure out my computer troubles. Right now, the computer, crossing my fingers, has been okay, but I'm most likely going to have to replace my motherboard. Anyway, let's get to today. There's no shock here. We're talking about the FOMC rate decision, right? Now, the consensus is a quarter point here. I guess with analysts, they're looking for a quarter point, right? That's what we're looking at today. Now, you have 8:30 building from as housing starts, 10:30 crude inventory. Really, like I said, everything's about the FOMC. I'd say we get a good, maybe even a decent 1 hour of trading, usually on an FOMC day. I'm not really excited. Sometimes I just take this day off, but we'll see. We'll see what we got. Sometimes you get a little nice trade before in the morning, but we got to see. Let's look at the Fed Watch tool here. Okay. Let me refresh this. It's just crazy that the market's pricing this CME watch tool are expecting a 50-point basis rate cut. It's really interesting. Quarter point is only 35, 50 is 65%. So this is so interesting. Really, really interesting. Okay. Now, let's go to other news here. Let's see. Why? Maybe this explains Google up a little bit. Google wins EU antitrust fine fight, but setback for Qualcomm. Setback for Qualcomm. Alphabet unit Google won a legal challenge against 1.7 billion European unit antitrust fine while Qualcomm failed to repeal a penalty. Okay. All right, now it says Microsoft BlackRock to launch 30 billion fund for AI infrastructure. BlackRock and Microsoft plan to launch a more than 30 billion fund to invest in artificial intelligence infrastructure to build data centers and energy projects. Okay. Boeing striking union set to resume contract talks. Okay. Now I'm just going to go in here and see if there's anything else here that we need to talk about. Just trying to see what's here. Here's that Edward Life Sciences that I was talking about. Let's see. Nike, Barclay raises target price to 84 from 80. Roku, JP Morgan raises target price from 90 from 80. All right, interesting. All right, there's there. What's the just trying to see greater chance US Steel. Nope, nothing there. Why don't we go to upgrades, downgrades? Let's see. All right, let's see upgrades here. Morning, Chief. Let's see upgrades. Let's see anything to note. Sirius Radio neutral to a buy. Victoria's Secret upgraded to underweight to equal weight. Let's see downgrades. Edward Life Sciences got a downgrade. Okay, let's see initiations today. ARM, a semi, outperform rating. Broadcom, outperform. So two semis initiating an outperform. Okay. What else here? Hyatt Hotels, neutral. This is all coverage that initiate. Hilton at a buy. Marriott at a buy. So there's some, obviously, what do you call that? Leisure, I think that is. Hotels getting buy ratings. Nvidia outperform. Okay, let's see. Supermicro computers at a buy. Look, travel and leisure neutral. Marriott vacations worldwide sell. Wyndham, there's another hotel at a buy. So, and all right, let's go to price target changes. All right, let's see. Starbucks got a target raise from 112 to 118. ON target raise from 45 to 59. What else here? All right, that's about it there. Let's see. Target lowered. Workday target lowered 350 to 300. FedEx target lowered from 347 to 345. Cleveland Cliffs target lowered equal weight 15 to 1350. All right, that does that. I think we're done here. I think we're done. We did the CME Fed Watch tool. We know FOMC is coming, right? Not too crazy with upgrades, downgrades. Yeah, I think that wraps that up. I think we're going to get right into daily charts. Okay. Let's get into daily charts. All right. So, not much to talk about here. We'll zoom in here. So, all-time highs made yesterday, 566.58, right? We made all-time highs. All right. Now, all-time highs before an FOMC. That's why I was kind of liking that fade. All right. People de-risk. So, that's what we did yesterday. And you can see we breached last week's highs, last month's highs, obviously all-time highs. All right. The previous month's highs, all-time highs. But you could just see my express chart. White lines are monthlies, orange are weeklies. Okay. Orange are weeklies. So where are we at now? 563.40, let's say 563.40. Expect it right here in the middle, like the lower third, but by the close, right by the yesterday's close, which is, like I said, unchanged. Nothing to really see there. Let's look at the futures. Remember that resistance I talked about yesterday, right? Right here. Look at that wick. Boom. Right? Now, futures were right at last week's highs. Right there. Right there. A little doji. Little doji. So what we got going on. Now, what we're set up for, like I said, I'm not the biggest pattern guy. I don't just go off patterns, but sometimes you just can't deny them. I'm not even sure if you're going to be able to see my drawings here. Oh, you can. Okay. So this is like inverse head and shoulders here. Okay, you can't deny it. You can't deny it. You got a shoulder, you got a head, a shoulder, and there's your neckline. 57.30, you break that. Now remember, in futures, back adjusted contracts, we're not at all-time highs. They're up here at 57.85. So you break that, you can go up. Okay, like I said, not a pattern guy, but sometimes you just can't deny it. Okay, but I don't know. Like, I have no clue because of FOMC. So, all right, let's go to Qs. Now, there's a trend line, right, that I've been talking about. Breached it a little bit. You could see the Qs hit last week's highs. That's all it had. Made a low down here, got bought up, right? So that trend line acted as resistance, and look, still got the 50, 20-day underneath here, supporting the market. Okay? So that was a big level, last week's highs. Okay? Now, that if you look to the left, that was also resistance. I talked about this yesterday, that 476, 477. And that was resistance with the trend line resistance, okay? Where are we at now? 474. We're at 474. But by the close, right? Nothing to see here. It's pretty much unchanged. All right, we're waiting for FOMC. All right, let's look at the live look in futures. You don't have that beautiful inverse head and shoulders as much because you have this kind of downtrend, but you still do have it really, actually. Right here, that neckline, let's just call it probably is around 198.78 in the futures, holding above the major moving averages. You can see Nasdaq is really coiling. See this? The last 4 sessions, it's really coiling up, and that's what it should do before FOMC. So a big move today is going to happen. It's going to happen. A big move is going to happen, guaranteed. So we just don't know how the market's going to look at the cut and how big the cut's going to be. That's the question today. All right, let's move on to our triple-headed monster. Let's get that in here. That's the 10-year yield. Now 10-year yield's making a little comeback today. Let's talk about the 10-year yield. Now this is going to change today. I mean, even though it's getting a little pop, right? It's getting a little pop. People are selling the 10-year this morning, but it's coming up to this resistance here. This is all going to change at FOMC. This is just a little pop. All right. Now, because we got this swing low we broke, and we've been kind of just rolling over here. So expect a little pullback here. Okay. Let's go to that second head, and that's the dollar. And that dollar, it's holding this swing low. Okay. Remember I said that M for murder here, that double top here, right? And it's just holding this level. Basically, this is called 100. Holding it. What's going to happen today with this dollar? We break that. Oof. We have to see. Excuse me. Let's go to the VIX. We're at a 17.75 VIX. VIX is kind of just in a range as well. Let's see what happens today. We're at a 17.75. Remember, this is 30 days out of fear, the VIX, and a 16 VIX is a 1% expected move plus or minus in the S&P 500. So we should have good movement today. Well, especially today, FOMC. Okay, especially today. All right, that wraps up that. I think we're going to move on to the main event, to the market profile and the volume profile. Okay, let's do that right here. Now, we can recap what I said yesterday. Worked out pretty good. Okay. Now, yesterday, remember, this did not exist yesterday, right? So, what I said, remember? I said right here, we had a weak low. I said if that's a dot get broken, it should fall, right? I also said this overnight inventory was 90% long, and I said look how much longs were getting paid, right? And we were up here. So 90% net long, and I said up at the top of the range. Remember I talked about the most traded price of the overnight? Right here. And what did I say below it? I said the elephant holding up a toothpick. Had thin volume here. Okay. So let's look at what happened yesterday. Let's look what happened yesterday. I can break this right out into the bars, right like that. Okay, and let's even make these are going to get fatter. We get the prayer. There we go. All right, so look what happened. Remember I said the gap ahead above us, I wanted to see how it reacted to the gap. Now, strong market would fill the gap. Okay, so we opened and we did a little dipsy-do here. Boop, boop, boop. But then we came up, tapped that gap right to the tick and played some games. Went up again. And then guess what happened? Look what happened when we broke the most traded price of the overnight. You see this movement and the weak structure here? Boom. One bar took 30-minute bar, took that out. And then what happened next? Here's the weak low. Look what happened when we went right through there. Boom. Okay. And then because we're in ultimate balance, this level became a magnet. And that's why we went like this. Okay, I participated in the short. I, I didn't get as much as I wanted on it, um, but that was a little error on my end of my stop. But the move was the move. I mean, that was the trade of the day right there. I mean, I think equivalent in the SPY, I probably got short around here, stop loss there, and then boom, boom, and that was it. Okay, because then it was de-risk time. People aren't going to get too short into FOMC, and then you got the big level. All right, so that's the recap of yesterday. Who was here to see it? I think it was probably K Trader. I'm not sure if she's here now. I'm not even sure if it's a she, but I'm pretty sure it is because that's her name is a girl's name. Uh, but that was a beautiful trade. Okay, beautiful setup. All right, now today, let's look at the markets today. You can see this little baby session here in the overnight, little tiny little thing. That's all because of FOMC. Okay, little baby session inside yesterday's session. It's not the best. You're right. You know what I'm saying? Not the best. Now, what we do have, you got to look at it, right? Look at our profile. You got a bell curve right before FOMC. What else do we have? Ultimate balance. Most traded price of the month and the week are equal. Big moves happen from this ultimate balance. Do I know if we're going to go this way or this way? Nope. But I know we're going to. Okay. And it's so cool because we're at all-time highs in the SPY. Right? We're at all-time highs, almost like a triple top. And we have a rate cut coming. So it's just great. It's like it's like we're gonna watch a finale of your favorite TV show today. All right. So what do we have here? Here's the midpoint of yesterday's session. That's where price is now. All right, midpoint of yesterday's session. Let me get clear that again. Is 5707.50, and we're just inside yesterday's session. Okay, yesterday was kind of a double distribution. Okay, looks like a barbell. All right, that's when that big move happened. Voomf, right there, and then we kind of stayed here. But a double distribution yesterday. Okay. All right. So what am I going to look for today? Now, if you look at structure, we're holding ultimate balance here right now, price. Okay. So I'm really going to look to see if we can hold this level, and maybe you get a nice little some large order sitting in the tape here. Interesting. And we got some supply here. We still got that gap overhead. All right. Like I said, today, not exciting trade. Usually the morning of FOMC, you usually get maybe one look at something, you know. And then I generally don't. I'm not a fan of trading the FOMC. It's kind of wild. If I see something to note, I might step in with options or something. But if I see something that's undeniable, I will take it. But it's not really a big edge on today. Like after it's more, to me, my edge is dull with the FOMC just because of the way the price action happens. We'll have to see though. We'll have to see if the market really, now I want to say this, right? Let's say, right, because we're in ultimate balance. I know a big move's happening. Something like this happens, right? I just want to show you this. Comes into the gap. Maybe we fill that gap. But if we do like something like that, come through like this, oh boy, and we do this and start holding here, we're gonna go lower. Okay, so I'll be watching for some kind of move like that. I'll be involved, but I don't know. Okay, so let's just get right into scenarios because there's not a lot to talk about. Like I said, I don't get super excited about the morning of the FOMC. So let's get right into some scenarios here. All right, there's only two things I'm probably going to be interested in here. So let's go with the bull case scenario. Okay. Right now we're inside. This is horrible trade location. So here's are the things that I'm going to look for. Now we do have, you can call this a weak low, but then you got this monster level below us. So I'm just going to say this. All right. Let's say we push in and just tip this supply and we come back and let's say we hold this big level like this, right? Well, then you got some liquidity that you possibly can go in and maybe test yesterday's highs with the gap. Maybe, right? Like I said, I'm not excited about it. Really not. Okay. That's one. The only other thing would be is if we did come back down and the market's not that weak and we go down into this demand zone. Notice this demand zone has been bought up every time. It's pretty much like the balance lows. If we get one of these and we get a quick recovery, higher low, we're probably going to go right up into this level here for FOMC. That's really what I'm looking for. Like I said, doesn't excite me a lot. Unless I really get a good read on the market, I'll, you know, I'll be involved. But if I just look at that market and it's just all over the place, probably gonna sit back and just wait and might not do anything today. But let's go to the bear. Okay. Obviously we got supply up here. Obviously we failed to fill the gap. All right. And it's all about me. My is de-risking most likely before FOMC because nobody knows. This one really nobody knows how the market's going to react and really not sure of what rate cut we're going to get. So that just makes it so much more like mystery to it. Like, are people really going to buy the heck out of this thing before it? I mean, I don't know. So let's talk about this, right? A couple things, but probably the inverse of what I just said. Let's say we come back, pull back, go into this supply, and like I said, let's say we just kiss yesterday's high, maybe even go boop, like a little bit above it, but then you start getting some lower highs, people de-risking, and you can go right back to the magnet, the ultimate balance. Okay, but if we stay there, but if we do one of these, hold, we could come down here and test the other side of balance. Okay, my guess probably would be we bounce up and we wait for FOMC. Okay, now what else could happen? We could open up, come right under here, hold, and go like this and do that as well. That's what I'm looking for. Like I said, I really need to get a hold on internals and see really what's going on under the hood for me to be confident of anything. If I'm not confident, I'm probably not going to do anything. But that's what I'm seeing. Okay, doesn't mean it's going to happen. They're just scenarios. All right, let's move on to the NASDAQ. All right. So NASDAQ, you can see yesterday, big ultimate balance levels, right? Yesterday I said, ooh, we got supply here. And if it can't find acceptance over these levels, it was going to fall. And look what happened, right? Look what happened. Went all the way down to here. So this level's huge. That level's around 197.58 to about 197.85. That's the most traded price of the month, most traded price of the week. Okay, most traded price of yesterday's up there, and it's just a big level. Remember, the QQQ is not by the all-time highs; they're relatively weak. Okay, now what else? What do we have going? We have a little baby session again inside yesterday. Just not a great place to be at all. Okay, now let's look at our profile. A little bit of a double distribution, but basically, if you round it out, it's a bell curve. We're in balance, and we're waiting for more information to make a move. Okay, now there's a lot of overhead supply in the NASDAQ. There's big supply zones above us. Okay, now big move's gonna happen. Don't know which way, but it's going to happen. So we just have to see. Okay, this seems to happen every time before an FOMC that you just start to get ultimate balance. It makes sense. People agree upon a price, and then either shorts are going to get destroyed today or the longs are going to get destroyed today. And usually with FOMC, there's a fake out. The first move is not the real move. The second move is, and we'll see from here. Okay? All right. Let's look at this. Do we have any key levels? Just our ultimate balance that I'm looking at, and this demand and this supply really is the playground. All right, so we're going to get right into scenarios here. All right, so let's talk about a bull case. Now, like I said, I'm not excited about this, but there could be something to do here. Okay, now what I'm looking for is now double distribution, just like yesterday, like I talked about. One distribution here, and sometimes you look at these are 2 different days. Okay, so this is like a bell curve here and a bell curve here, double distribution, right? What I do see here is, see, there is a high volume node here yesterday that the overnight low, this is kind of a weak low. Maybe that is an ES, maybe I should have looked at that. But that overnight low of 196.57, if that's broken, I expect us to come down into demand. Okay, now of course you got this big level above us, so let's talk about this now that I said that overnight low here. Okay, that's a first defense for bulls. All right, second is the RTH low from yesterday and this demand. So 2 things, because we're different now in the Nasdaq. We're below this big level. Okay, inventory is balanced. You got a nice balanced profile in the overnight. So what I would like to see is possibly maybe come up to the ultimate balance, come through here, and see if this can hold. If it does this, does this, does this, I can see us coming right up in here and holding. Maybe even going like this and then coming back and holding for FOMC. Second thing is, let's say this does get taken out, which I think it would cause us to probably test by yesterday's lows. Come down here, boom, right into demand. Okay, right into demand. And I could see, what are we going to do here before FOMC? If the market's not that weak, if you start getting lower highs, you can shoot right back up into this area and wait. All right, that's what I'm looking for as far as the long side. As far as the short side, okay, we still have supply overhead. You still have this big level. All right, so what I'd be looking for, we talk about the some big orders here. Talk about that weak low. Okay, so that's appetizing for a bear. Okay, and up here we just have this monster level. Okay, we have the monster level. So a couple things that could happen here, and it's probably the inverse of what I just said in the bull case. We can, if we set, let's say we pull back, hold this overnight, most traded price of the overnight, and we try to go up here, and let's say we do this again, up into supply, fail, lower high, come through. Now, if we're coming through here, and we take out that overnight, most traded price of the overnight, we're going to test this weak low, that 196.57. If this does not hold, I believe it's a straight shot to yesterday's lows in this demand. And like I said, how deep do we go? I don't know, but I would think we probably at some point do one of these at least to bounce out. Okay. Now, what also could happen is price is right here, so we could just come through, right? And you could do this, break it, and if you start just holding, and you're finding acceptance below that weak low, and then you could take it down here. Okay, that's what I'm seeing for the Nasdaq in the ES. Like I said, if my edge is dull in the morning with the internals, I'll probably just wait it, sit it out. But if I do see something where I'm like, oh wow, this is pretty, I mean, we're down here and the market's not that weak, I feel like the de-risking is going to happen for FOMC, it might be worth to take a stab at something. But like I said, not excited about it. But those are the scenarios. Hopefully you guys understood them and took something from them. Okay, try to give you guys give you guys some good content, some good things to think about. Okay, today's very exciting because I Nobody knows what the market's gonna do. Nobody knows if we're getting 25 or 50. Fed Watch Tool says we're getting 50, but who knows, right? Anyway, hopefully you enjoy my content. All right. Please, if you're new, subscribe, set an alert. Hoping to get to 200 subs here. Hoping to get to 200. All right. If you enjoy my content, please smash that like button. That will help me out a lot. As always, you can follow me on X at Gonzo719. Now, as well, I do a lot of videos, reels, and you can check out my YouTube shorts, and you can also check out TikTok at Gonzo719Trader. Okay. So that's it, everybody. Have a good day. Like I said, I'm going to be super patient, see if my edge comes this morning with any of those scenarios, and then I'll act on them. If I feel like the market is not giving me a clear signal, I'll sit it out. I'll be there for the FOMC. If I don't see something that's really, really, whoa, I got to take this, maybe I'll play options instead. I don't know. Okay. So, everybody have a great day. All right. Stay green. No trade is a trade. And I'll see everybody tomorrow.